Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I made this video because it's very useful for people that they just graduated recently, they're in their first role and they're wondering what the next step should be. And here's the thing that nobody really tells you. The decisions you make in these first few years, they matter a lot, an awful lot. But don't panic, because in this video, I'm going to share with you some strategies that most people don't figure out until they're 10 years into their career. And by that point, it's too late for most of them. And by then, they're kicking themselves, frustrated in their roles, and they're asking themselves, why didn't anyone tell me about this earlier? Well, I'm about to really help you out here. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's talk about how to actually build a career rather than just stumble into one. Let's do it. All right, so the first thing, and this is going to sound weirdly specific, but timing is absolutely critical in your career, and most people completely ignore it. Think about it. There are certain times of the year when the job market completely explodes with new opportunities. So January, this is huge. Companies start the new year with new headcount, new budgets. They start it with enthusiasm. It's a new year. Even in your personal life, you're probably thinking, well, I'm going to go to the gym more often. This is exactly the same in the corporate world. It's a new spirit. So job opportunities are out there and they're ready to hire. The same applies to right after Easter and another spike in September, which is a big one. It's like another January, but on the third quarter of the year. And these explosions and spikes of opportunities, they happen for a number of reasons. They're largely driven by candidates because after Christmas, people have spent time with their friends, their family, their loved ones. And the thought of going back to a shitty job in January usually pushes someone over the edge and they think, I need a new job, just like I need to go to the gym. That same sentiment runs through every single public holiday and every time that they might do something that isn't work related. Companies have spent an awful lot of time to try and minimize this because this is the biggest risk factor, is allowing their employees to have a life outside of work, because it is a direct reflection of what work is like, because that is the contrast. The good news is it creates openings, it creates opportunities, because companies, corporations will use these spots, these hotspots, to get out there and to try and secure the best talent or the best person that they can find for the job, because they know that more candidates are active at that point. So here's what you need to do. You need to understand, have a calendar, write down those things, go back a little bit in this video, write down those dates. Start planning 4 to 6 weeks beforehand. Get your CV in order. Make sure it's constantly updated so it has your most relevant skills and experience on. Anything that's, part-time job when you were 12 doing a paper round, that's not relevant any longer. So get focused. Make it look good. Start reaching out to your network. And if you don't have one, start making one. And start talking to recruiters. You want to be really on it when these dates happen. You need to be prepared when the market is hot, not scrambling to catch up, being the 3rd or 5th or 10th in the queue. And here's the flip side. If you're happy where you are, these are the times that you'll also most likely be approached with new opportunities. So stay alert, keep your LinkedIn profile updated, and answer the phone. Okay, so next up, and this is probably the most important thing I'm going to share with you today, is to have a plan. And what I mean by that is to really actually have a plan. So I know, you're probably thinking, well, yeah, I'd like to see which way the wind blows and where the moon's going to set. I'll fly by the seat of my pants and see where life takes me. So I get that. That's completely fine when you're 5 or 6 or you're on a road trip. But that is not the way to manage your developer career. So this is what I'm advising you to do. Sit down and map out the next 3 to 5 years. Where do you want to be? What level? What industry? What kind of company? Do you want to be a specialist or a generalist? Do you want to be in management or do you want to be a technical expert? This is really good practice to have that answered, because this is likely to be one of the questions that you're going to be asked in an interview. Someone's going to say to you, most probably, what do you see yourself doing in 3 to 5 years' time? So As I've mentioned in previous videos about answering interview questions, you don't need to actually tell them the truth, but you do need to have thought about it. So you don't sit there and go, oh, I don't really know. I haven't really thought about that, because that's not going to get you very far either. And the reason that's not going to get you very far is because what they hear, and I've also done a video on questions and why people ask questions, because what will happen is that if they ask you that question and you don't come back with an answer that sounds like you thought about it, what they hear is that you haven't thought about it, that you're not very planned, you don't have any strategy, and actually you're going to do exactly the same in your role that you do in your personal life. So effectively, fly by the seat of your pants and not be very effective. So having a plan isn't about locking yourself into a direction, a single direction forever, because things change. But it is about having a format and a framework, and to have an outcome that you expect at the point of developing the plan to achieve, and so that you can also align the opportunities that come to you with that plan and know which ones to say yes to, I'm interested in hearing more, or the ones that you say, no thank you, but thank you for giving me the consideration. I understand that early in your career, any opportunity that comes your way will sound like it's great. So a new title, a new job itself. Someone's come to me, they want me, a shiny thing, I'm special. I know this because flattery is one of the easiest ways to get people to do something. So you need to be careful. You need to listen, you need to evaluate, but you need to know not to jump in both feet first, because it sounds wonderful. Because if you jump in at every opportunity, if you don't evaluate, if you don't use your strategic plan, then what happens is you'll end up with what I call a checkerboard career, where you've done a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this and a bit of that. And again, this will compound on that question you might get asked in an interview, what your 3 and 5 year plan is. And it'll show that you don't have that, because the CV says it for itself. Oh, you did this and you did that and you did this and you did that. These are questions you do not want to be asked, because what you want is someone to see your CV and to know immediately that each job has a strategic direction to the next one. And that is a quality A-star candidate, rather than someone that has a garbled load of chaos. So the 2 tips on this. In the first few years of your career, you should avoid sideways moves unless they are strategic. What I mean by that is that that's a step in the right direction to where you want to be. So you might, as an example, land in a company but doing slightly the wrong job. You know where you want to go to. It's not going to be an uphill move, it's going to be a sideways one, but that will help you get somewhere. That's a strategic move, and that is completely okay, because there's a decision behind that. A definite 100% no-no is never, even when you're getting more experienced and skills, never go backwards. The minute you go backwards, you have anchored yourself in that backward position. Your salary expectations, everything. It is a very, very expensive and costly thing to do, to go backwards, because it has taken you a long time to get to that level in the first place. If you then go back down, to get further up, you have to get back to the original level to get further up. So just don't do that. Now, I know that sometimes you might not have a choice, but you will have a choice if you follow this plan that I'm setting out for you today. So every step that you take should either move you up, give you critical new skills, or position you in a new company, a better company, or a better industry. Now, talking about companies, you need to make a list. This is part of the strategy, to select 20 or 30 companies that you feel you either like, you want to work for, or are going to be good for your career. So you need to dream big on this one. This is where your goals or your bar to achievement is set really quite high, not unachievably high. This is the same as targets. A target that's out of reach is one that will never be reached, and people know they'll never reach it, so they don't even try to get off the floor. So you set the target higher than you think someone's going to achieve, but they could achieve it. And that's the incentive. So you set your bar at a place where you think you want to be. And it has to be ambitious, because if it's up here and you get to here, that's a lot better than having your target. So don't discount the sort of, Google, Netflix, Apple, your TV station, whatever it is, the cool startup round the corner, the top firms in your industry. Don't discount any of them. Then do some research. You've got your 20 or 30 on the list. Do some research. Find out who works there, what type of people they look for, and try and understand what process they use to get people in. So this list will become your North Star, because that's your target. So when opportunities come up from other directions, you can ask yourself, if that is the goal, do these other opportunities, do they align with that? And how close do they get me there? Or do they get me there at all? Do they help me get me there? Because your plan and what we're setting out today is about getting you from day one, or maybe you've been there a year, to the rest of your career. So you need a plan on how to get there. And in order to do that, it's going to take some moves. Those moves require evaluation. And the first one is to have the list and then to work out what steps you need to get from where you are today to where you want to be. Now, in developing that plan and actually working through it, this is where most people really mess up, is that they think they can do it all alone. But listen, the leadership, the CEOs, the managers, the senior managers, the executives that you were working with or you aspire to become, they didn't get there by themselves. They had mentors, they had coaches, they had people that opened doors for them. So why would you think you could figure this out going solo? So the first thing to do is to find a mentor. And I don't mean some sort of stuffy relationship where you turn up once every 3 months or 6 months and they run through some sort of awkward checklist and it all feels a little bit awkward. Could be kind of akin to going to therapy. That's not really going to help you. What you need is you need someone who has walked in your shoes, they've been in your position, possibly 3 to 5 years ago, a very informal situation and relationship, because they will remember what it's like. They'll be current. They'll have real practical advice, and they will also hopefully be able to introduce you to people. And that is important. Now, if you can get a coach as well, this is more of a professional role, but it's still incredibly valuable. So this is someone that will help you through your 3 to 5 year strategic plan, develop the big picture for you, and most important, making sure that you're online and keeping you accountable for that 3 to 5 year plan. So this is more like a training coach. It's very easy to think you're going to go to the gym every day, but if you had someone there that was going to start chasing you if you didn't go to the gym, you'd be there every single day, because that's what's needed and that's how people lose all the weight or get buff or whatever they do. They have a plan, they have a strategy, and they have someone that's going to help them do that. But that's not all, because here's the absolute game changer. Get yourself a headhunter or a recruiter, someone that specializes in the type of roles that you're working in and the type of industry and the type of companies. I cannot stress this enough. When recruiters call you, take the call. So I don't care if you're happy in your job. I don't care even if you've just started somewhere new and you're a month in. Take that call. And here is the reason why. Because when that role is generated in a company, they will run through a set of processes in order to find a candidate. Those processes start off with free efforts. Then they run through other things, and then they advertise it in places, and then they advertise it in more places. And they're doing this in order to get candidates, to get people to apply for the position. By the time someone has actually bothered to pick up the phone and reach out to you directly, they've gone in a completely different direction. They've possibly engaged a headhunter. That means that they're paying for it, or a recruitment company. And even if it's their own internal talent acquisition, these are proactive steps. They're no longer sitting there waiting for people to come to them. They can't find anyone. So they are now reaching out. And you are one of the people, if not just the only person that they're reaching out to. So the bottom line on this is recruiters only reach out when they are having difficulty in filling that role. And what that means to you is that you could be one of a very small number of candidates. You could actually be the only candidate. So your chances of getting a good job at this point are huge, because you're not in amongst 300 or 500 people applying for a job, or even 50. You're definitely going to be one of a very small select group of people. And that means that you have leverage. That means that you could be talking about an opportunity that you didn't even know existed, and you would have never otherwise known about it. A 5-minute conversation costs you absolutely nothing, but it could mean a 20% pay rise or possibly more. It could mean a better job title, or it could get you into one of your dream list companies very, very quickly. But this is absolutely critical and absolutely crucial. Actually have a conversation with your voice. Pick up the phone. This is absolutely no time for texts or LinkedIn messages or WhatsApps or whatever, because recruiters are people and they are assessing your suitability from the point that they dial your number. If they've messaged you, it is okay to message them back, but you need to get on the phone as quickly as possible, because you need to be further forward in that assessment process, because they're trying to match humans to roles. And the only way they can properly assess a human is to actually get on the phone to them and to hear them, to talk to them. And the only way you can get accurate answers to your assessment about the opportunity that they have is to get on the phone and to ask them questions, to get a free flow of to and fro that gives you the facts. And the bottom line is, these people, these recruiters, they are there ultimately to help you. They will be helping themselves at the same time, but they're there to help you. So help them help you. So be respectful, be polite. Most importantly, be informed. Have a set of questions that you'll always ask to anyone that approaches you with an opportunity. It will be very easy then to be able to assess the pros and cons of different opportunities as you go forward in your career. You'll develop and you'll change these questions, but don't get caught off the hook by thinking, oh, someone's just phoned me. Oh, I don't really know. I don't know the questions. I don't know the answers. Practice. Think about it. Make a list. Keep them on your notes on your phone. Show you're serious, because these people, they can make your dreams happen significantly faster than you can do that on your own. And don't wait until you need a job. You need a new change to start these relationships. Because if you do, what you've done is you've lost your bargaining power, you've lost your leverage, and you've lost your poker face, because they can smell desperation from a long way away. You have to remember that these people spend all day, every day, on the phone to people. They hear people's tone, they hear people's sentiment, they hear people's goals, they hear everything, and they can hear through it. So they will smell that a long way away. So it's always best to be looking for a job when you don't need one. So instead, what you need to do is you need to nurture those relationships and check in with them every 6 months or so. So even if you get a call from one of them and you think, oh no, that's not for me, you should say, thank you very much for considering me for this opportunity, but it's just not for me this time. Let's keep in touch. Make a note of their number, and every 6 months or so, give them a quick call. Just a quick call. Something along the lines of, hi, it's James here. We spoke before. This is what I've been working on. I'm still interested in hearing about opportunities similar to that can take me forward. Just checking in. It's really that simple. You don't need to go into any long thing. You don't need to put half an hour aside. It's a quick 2-minute call, because what happens is they will probably say no, they don't, but after a while they'll know it's James. And I'll go, yeah, that guy James. Oh, one of their colleagues in the different department might go, oh, we need someone like this, and they'll go, yeah, I know someone called James. Your name might not be James, but that doesn't really make any difference. I think you get my point. If it is James, hello James. You also need to take the advantage when you phone them on your catch-up to get to know them a bit, because people buy people, not products and services, and you may have heard that, but relationships go an awful long way. You also need to ask them about networking events, because good recruiters even internal HR people or talent acquisition or whatever, they know what's happening in their professional circle, and they'll either be hosting them or they'll know where they're happening. So it's a good idea to go to those type of things, meet people, schmooze people up, connect with people on LinkedIn, create some relationships. Because here's the absolute bottom line truth. Your future depends more on who you know than what you know. I wish that wasn't true, but unfortunately it is. So be strategic about it. Be professional about it. This is exactly how your CEO got to be CEO. More so if it's a family business. This is how people climb. This is exactly what leadership, senior executives, and CEOs do. This is exactly how they got into those positions, and this is what you need to do. Let me add one more thing whilst we're here. You need to invest in yourself constantly. So that might mean certifications, qualifications, learning new software, reading industry publications, going to conferences, and so on. You need to do whatever it takes to remain current and valuable. And you need to build your own personal brand. Now, I know that sounds a bit naff, and we're all hearing that everywhere, and everyone does it to some extent anyway. But what it means is actually polishing it up, and polishing it up in a way that you become known for something positive, clearly. So you need to be the person that knows X or knows Y. Be the person who is an expert in Z, and make sure people remember you. So when I say that, I'm not advocating you go and do this, but I'm just saying there's quite a few people out there that do this, and they use fashion and style as part of that brand kit. So I've known people who can't remember someone's name, but they've said, yeah, that's that guy that wears the red trousers, or that's the guy that's got the hat on. It's very easy to be able to identify other people out there by, certain styles. Now, LinkedIn isn't optional anymore. LinkedIn is essentially, regardless of what anyone says out there, it is a recruitment website. They try and rebrand it as some sort of corporate networking, but actually it's a platform for people to show off their personal experiences and skills, and to be seen by headhunters, who are the most common people to use it. It is in effect your digital storefront. You are one of the products in that store. So you need to be a little bit active on there. You don't need to go over the top and be married to it, but it certainly pays to post occasionally, comment, like, to be a little bit present. Comment on other people's stuff, especially people who are in the same industry or same type of companies, because you're making yourself visible, because people do look down through the comments and the likes to see who's done that. Who's left me a comment? Oh yeah, this guy, he works over at one of my competitors. Let's make a note of his name, give him to recruiters, they can phone him up. Bingo, you have an opportunity. So let people know you exist and you're thinking about the industry that you work in. All of a sudden you've elevated yourself and differentiated yourself from someone that's just clicked apply on a website and sent off their CV. I mean, which one are you going to be more interested in? And use LinkedIn to promote the good work that you do. So when you do something good, post it on LinkedIn. Get it in front of the people that would find that relevant to them. Because although they might not go on there, they might have notifications on and they might hear about it. So I'm not saying, go overboard and become obnoxious and be one of these people that's just a bad penny every time you log on to it or whatever. You've got the same person saying the same old stuff. No, that's not going to really help you. But occasionally get involved, be visible, because your boss, he'll also be on there for the same reasons you are, although he'll probably have reframed that as a corporate identity or something. But he'll see that you're on there and you've posted something nice about your achievements, and that also reflects back good stuff from the company. So it's a good brand equity exercise for the company as well. But first and foremost, it lets your network know that you're capable, you've achieved, and you're active, and you're someone that delivers. So one last thing, you have to regard this entire process as a marathon and not a sprint. You are, without doubt, going to have setbacks. You're going to apply for jobs and you're not going to get them. You're going to be rejected. You might even be ghosted. You're going to have some horrible experiences. But if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's another differentiator. That's where the saying, go the extra mile, comes from. Because most people will start dropping off. And you only need to be just a little bit ahead of them when they drop off to be in the lead. You're also going to have bosses you don't click with. You will make the occasional mistake. And before you get to the point of knowing that you made the mistake, you'll sit there in doubt and probably hate Sundays because Monday's coming up. That is completely normal. The most imperative thing about what we've covered today is that you have a plan and you have a strategy, that you're building relationships, that you're learning, and you're making strategic moves. If you stick with that, and you follow this plan, you'll look back and you'll be absolutely amazed at how far you've gone. And above and beyond that, you'll be that person that other graduates or newbies will be asking advice on. How did you get there? You'll be able to help others. So that's it for today. Personally, I think this is the best advice I could have given to anyone. And I give the same advice to my own children and friends' children and anyone I come across who is within that starting age group bracket. I've seen amazing results. It is what I do for a job, so I know it's going to be helpful. So give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment letting me know what's your biggest career question right now. And remember, you've got this. You've done the hard part. You've finished your degree. You're ready to hit the workplace. Maybe you're already in it. Now it's just about being smart and strategic about what comes next. So see you in the next video, and go and take a recruiter's call.